A step parenting expert, Chris Burns.
Women's mindset coach and stepmom, Chris Burns.
Welcome to the Step Parent Podcast. Hello and welcome back to Step Parent Podcast. This is the segment, If I'm Honest, a space for my community to share their stories, to feel heard and seen in their step parenting experience, and also an opportunity for you to be coached by me, to take tangible tools into your mental toolkit and into your blended family dynamic to change the trajectory of the way that you operate and lead your home. I am truly honored to share some really incredible stories of women who are trying to do better, who want to unlearn old patterns and old stories that are really messing with their blended home. I think that this gives women an opportunity to feel really seen and heard in a space where you otherwise wouldn't. And I want to facilitate a safe, judgment-free space for that to happen. When I'm sharing these stories, I want you to listen and really just have an awareness to judgment is not welcome in this space. Be kind with not only your own thoughts, but what you feel like you might want to comment on as well. However, if you're a step parent listening to this, I know that these stories are going to resonate with you. And if they do, I would love for you to share them with someone you might know who needs to hear a conversation just like this one. So let's dive in today to the segment, If I'm Honest. I'm going to share this story. The details are anonymous, and that is really important to me as well, that the details remain anonymous. So there's been some parts of this story that I have changed slightly just to ensure that there is no ability for anyone to identify this person, because that is really important to this beautiful stepmom that has shared what's going on for her right now and really putting herself in the spotlight to be coached and supported on her journey. So let's dive in. Okay, she said this. I'm in my late 20s and don't have kids of my own. I've been with my fiance for a few years and he comes with two beautiful preschool and primary school aged kids. They are great. We have a really positive family environment when we are spending time together. I'll start from the beginning. When we first met, he told me he had children and I didn't want any. I've never been maternal in a way of, oh my God, can't wait to be pregnant. Pregnancy sounds horrible for me. I don't mind that he had kids. Seeing him be a dad has changed that for me completely. The moment we ended up together, there has been a high conflict biological mum, and that's always been an issue. She says things like, please don't be with her. I want to make us work. She's made every reason she could think of to communicate with him. The kids and I are having a bad day. We miss you. Texts like this are constantly being sent, especially in the early days. At the beginning, I've always remained really calm, tried to keep the kids in mind always, despite the disrespect towards me and my partner. For context, they were married quite young, had kids young. She cheated and is still with the person that she cheated with, even though she has begged my partner to come back to her for years. Fast forward, she's eventually got over the fact that he's moved on and is with me, but is always using the children as a weapon. My partner and I decided long distance wasn't for our relationship, so he moved to me, which is about a 6-hour drive from the kids. For a while, we managed the pickups and drop-offs, but it became really draining to manage and asked her to meet us halfway. She declined aggressively because we do nothing to contribute to the kids. Shortly after, we were stopped from seeing them. We went almost 12 months without seeing or hearing from the children. We missed the milestones and everything in between. Out of the blue, she sent an apology message. I got involved so he could see them, but she quickly retracted after about a week because we asked her to meet us so that he could see the children more frequently. They have since worked that part out of the story. There's a mediation plan, agreed meeting place, although I feel like it was all on her terms and this was a very one-sided conversation with the mediator. Her partner, current partner, attempts to tower over the kid's dad, my partner. She allows him to disrespect and cause nasty tension between all of the co-parents involved. She's only ever nice when she needs something, like a place for the children to go so she can go on a holiday, for example, without them. I have since decided not to be involved in all communication. I ignore the messages. If she asks for something via me, I pass it on to my partner. My partner shuts down from the abuse. He is absent within himself and now as a father. It's sad to say, but she has pushed him to a point where he is miserable. And she has pushed me to the point where I just don't trust her. I hate her messaging him. I hate her calling. I don't look forward to the kids coming home anymore. A few weeks ago, she was trying to reach out to him. He was shut down from her abuse. So she reached out to me. several times in one day and for a few days in a row. Eventually, I sent a reply and it was met with frustration and anger. Her response was particularly evil, awful, and inhumane. She abused me and called me a cunt, etc. We have organised to have the kids for this Christmas, but prior to this organisation, the "I wish I never ruined our marriage" text messages started to resurface between my partner and his ex. His reply was setting a boundary. "I'm sorry, this must be about the children only," and then from there the abuse has flooded in. This is a never-ending cycle. I fear that if we do decide to have a child together, she's going to flip out and make things even harder. On top of this, I have some health issues, recently diagnosed with endometriosis, potential IVF, and other things are on the cards for my future. I just don't know where this ends. Okay, so I want to share 3 coaching points that every stepmom in a high conflict situation needs to hear. And if this story hit you in the chest, it's because you've lived even just a slice of this dynamic. So point number 1. This is not a co-parenting issue. What you're witnessing is emotional abuse and a boundary collapse. When someone is operating from their own trauma, their abandonment wounds, and their unresolved attachment issues, they weaponize the children. They weaponize communication and they drag everyone into their emotional storm. And if you keep trying to logic your way through someone else's dysregulation, you will burn yourself alive trying to fix a dynamic that was never safe to begin with. That is emotional manipulation, not miscommunication. And once you see it for what it is, everything changes. Point number 2, your partner's shutdown is not him not caring. This is emotional fatigue, nervous system burnout. This is learned helplessness from years of being attacked, blamed, or punished for trying to show up. Men in high conflict co-parenting situations often retreat because silence feels safer than engagement. Avoidance becomes a trauma response, not a choice. But the cost is massive. It disconnects him from his kids, from his partner, and from himself. And until he gets support, structure, and boundaries in place, nothing shifts. This isn't about motivation. It's about a body that's hit its freaking limit. My point number 3 is stepmoms break when they hold responsibility that was never theirs. You are not the communicator. You are not the emotional shock absorber. You are not the mediator between 2 adults who refuse to co-parent responsibility. The moment that you step into the firing line, you become the target, the scapegoat, the emotional punching bag. And that's exactly what's happened in this story. The shift happens when you step back and reclaim your lane. No direct communication, no crisis management, no rescuing, no stabling chaos you didn't create. Your power is neutrality. Your safety is boundaries. Your peace will come back the second you stop trying to be the solution to someone else's dysfunction. And if you needed this reminder today, you are not crazy. You are not the problem. You are not responsible for healing an adult who is committed to staying in their wounds. You know the thing that you'd never say out loud about being a step parent? Say it here. If I'm Honest is the new segment on the Step Parent podcast, a space for raw, unfiltered, anonymous stories from real step parents. I'll be reacting live on the podcast, no names, just honesty. Because if we can't be honest, then we can't heal. A simple visual that you can stop over-functioning and overthinking is every situation goes into one of 3 lanes. My lane, my reactions, my boundaries, my energy, my behavior. His lane, his parenting, his communication with the ex, his emotional responsibility, and then her lane or his lane. Her behavior, her choices, her responses. When something happens, ask, what lane is this? If it's not her lane, she doesn't touch it. That one question can stop 80% of emotional burnout. You only go to the lane that is yours to hold and yours to own. Number 2 is the 24-hour rule. So whenever conflict is erupting, especially through text, no reacting, no responding, no fixing energy, no stepping in. Give everything 24 hours. This interrupts the trauma urgency, increases emotional clarity, and stops you from stepping into fires that aren't yours to put out. The next one would be the pick up and drop off ritual. So you need structured pre and post routine because high conflict transitions are super, super draining. So before a pickup, I want you to focus on 2 minutes of breath work. In for 4, inhaling for 4, and then holding for 2, and then 6 out. This is for about 2 minutes work. His job, not mine, is the reminder that I want you to affirm to yourself. Walk away from the communication role as well. So after the drop off, you need movement. 5 to 10 minutes walk outside, be grounded, just no distractions, no phone, no headphones, nothing to distract you. And if you can't get yourself out into the outdoors, then definitely take a shower. This regulates your nervous system in stressful moments of the blend and the transition. The next thing is neutral contact. So agreements with your partner about not controlling him, about protecting the relationship only. You can create a plan like all communication stays between him and the ex. You don't need to view messages unless he chooses to share them. You don't talk about conflict at a set time, you talk about conflict at a set time each week. Perhaps the 3-minute rule is really great to apply here, where you can speak about and vent about the ex for 3 minutes only is the time and the space that you'll dedicate to that in your day. There's another one that is the emotional load detox. So you need to remove the invisible responsibilities that you're quietly carrying. Create a list with 2 columns, what I carry now and what is actually mine. Anything that's not belonging to you gets crossed out and handed back physically or energetically. This stops the resentment before it builds. Another really great one would be the daily return to self check-in. So 1 line every day, what part of me needs attention today? Not the relationship, not the ex, not the kids, you. This builds emotional muscle memory and recenters your identity with yourself. Another great thing to do would be the do not enter boundary. So a clear internal rule, if it's going to cost you your peace, your health, or your self-respect, it's not yours to manage. And this is really hard to do, but it's really important that you bring this into your blended family dynamic. It's really important that you bring this into your dynamic also because of your health and the stress and impact that this can have on the body. You need boundaries that protect both your emotional and physical well-being. No one can handle high conflict step parenting alone, and I feel like there needs to also be 3 pillars. 1, emotional outlet, so you've got support, a resource, therapist, coach, counselor, whatever that looks like. 1, nervous system tool, so breath work, somatic therapy, grounding work. You can find all of these things as free resources on YouTube as well. And then a physical outlet, so the gym, a class, going for a walk, running, swimming, whatever that looks like as well. This will keep you really resilient long term. This is a healthy outlet for you. Now, I want to speak to the future baby, what you're speaking about here. And instead of fearing what will happen when you have a child, I want you to consider creating a plan. What boundaries can you tighten? How does communication get even more structured with you and your partner? What role does he take fully back away from you? What support do you both have in place? Planning equals safety and avoiding equals fear. I also want you to give yourself a little bit of permission to opt out. You are allowed to love the kids without participating in the chaos around them. Opting out is not withdrawal, it's wisdom, it's regulation, and it is leadership. Before we wrap this episode up, I want to say a really heartfelt thank you to this beautiful listener for sharing her story in the If I'm Honest segment. It takes courage to speak your truth, especially in blended families where so much is carried quietly and privately. Sharing your experience is a powerful way to be seen, to be heard, to remind other step parents that they are not alone in what they're navigating. If you're listening to this and you have a story you feel called to share, I would love to hear from you. You can send your story through to chris@thestepparentcoach.com and it may be featured in a future If I'm Honest segment on the podcast. And if this episode resonated with you, please make sure that you drop in and leave a comment on Spotify and give the podcast a 5-star rating. That is genuinely how you support this work and help this message reach more step parents who need to hear it. And if this episode really landed for you, if you felt seen, called out, or quietly relieved by what I've shared today, I want you to know that this work doesn't stop at awareness. Awareness is powerful, but integration is what actually changes your lived experience. And that is exactly why I created the Step Parent Standard course. This course is not about coping harder or trying to be more patient. It's about emotional intelligence, nervous system regulation, boundaries, identity, responsibility, and leadership inside a blended family dynamic. Inside this course, we go deeply into understanding your triggers instead of being run by them, learning what is yours to carry and what is not, stepping out of resentment, overfunctioning, and self-abandonment, rebuilding your sense of self without blowing up your entire family. You will also learn about how to lead your blended family from clarity instead of survival. This is the foundation work. This stuff, no one teaches step parents before they are already burning out in their role. If you are ready to stop surviving your role and start leading it, this course is for you. So go to the show notes of this episode, click the link and head to the checkout. You can start this course immediately. It is entirely self-paced and you can be done in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, couple of months, however you want to do the course. It's on your own time and on your own schedule. And remember, you don't need to be more grateful. You don't need to be tougher and you don't need to disappear to keep the peace. You just need the right tools. Okay, guys. So final note, make sure that you are following the podcast on Spotify so you don't miss next week's episode. I also have a few surprises coming for you, including bonus episodes over Christmas that I know will bring you some extra support during what can be a really layered time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and for doing the work. I will see you in the next episode.